gives me everything I want in life. And so most people, I don't want to hear anything about, I know all this stuff already. But that's obviously not true, or they'd want to hear more and more about Bhagavad Gita. Anyway, there's really three things that we're recommended to do by Nityananda Prabhu, and that's to Bolo Krishna, which means chant his names, Bhaja Krishna, worship him, and Koro Krishna Shiksha, which is follow his instructions. But in order to follow his instructions, we have to actually know what his instructions are. We have to like, all right, well, what are his instructions? Not just like, oh, I feel like his instructions are like this today. And then we just kind of go through life, you know, guessing. Yeah, I think God will be happy with this. Most people don't want to be like bad people. Most people actually are like, I think this is good, but if we just happen to be mistaken, then it won't end up turning out good, you know. So the whole world, what did they say? The highway to hell is paved with good intentions. The whole world, probably thinks what they're doing. Most of them are good. Very few people are just like, I really want to be evil. There are some people, but most people are not, that's not their mood. But unfortunately, we can support and join and be a part of all kinds of not good things because we don't know what's the ultimate good. So we're going to talk about Hare Krishna. Is it Tanu? Just you? You walked all alone? Okay. Divyanshu is studying? Okay. Okay, that's very good. All right, well, so we have like a more mature devotee group today. So I was wondering what I should do today, and then I was just like, you know what? I always do something very beginner. I'm really inspired. I want to like talk about something like a little bit more deep, a little bit more complex. And Krishna he's actually fulfilled my desire by only making mature devotees show up today. So devotees who have some experience. So yeah, we're gonna do it. Are you ready? We'll start like as is tradition. We'll read a verse of Bhagavad Gita. And uh cool. Robin, you've been staying in because I know me and Robin did a yoga teacher training together 6 years ago now. Yeah, 6 years ago now.
Where in
Yeah,
Dubai?
no, in India. Yes,
India.
yeah, we went to India. My first time to India actually, and I met Robin, one of the first people I met.
Where?
Not, she was part of a whole group that
Where
was
in
the first
India?
people that I
New
met.
Delhi?
What's that?
Did you go to Delhi?
Yeah, at some point. But I didn't start in Delhi. I started in Mumbai, and then we went up to Wada, which is where this Radhanath Swami has a nice eco village up there called the Govardhan Eco Village. I did a yoga teacher training with a really nice devotee yoga teacher named Raghunath, who actually helped inspire, I know, Robin to get into it, and Mukunda as well, and many, many devotees. So it's very interesting now that I received a text yesterday that she's back in the area, or not back in the area. And so yeah, so it's a very interesting reunion today. Um, so much has happened since that time. And I'm sure so much with you, but you've stayed obviously in this sphere of things, and as have I to some degree. Yes, so this is very good. We are going to study um, a pretty important verse of Bhagavad Gita. But then this is going to propel us into the deeper teaching. We're going to study something called the Dashmula Tattva today. So our Bhaktivinoda Thakur, if you look four teachers to the right in the big statue of our Guru Parampara there, that's Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the father of, and also Shiksha spiritual master of our Param Guru in this lineage, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Actually, my Param Guru is Srila Prabhupada, but Param Guru is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. And then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was the guru of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, who came to the West and ignited this Krishna consciousness movement all across the world, where people like myself, Madhav, Mukunda, and Robin, even though we had no understanding of anything to do with Vedic wisdom at all, but we could approach this due to the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, or else it would have been likely staying in India until, but only he could do what he did. So it was wonderful. So this is our, we're going to study though, what's called the Dashmula Tattva, and this is revealed in one of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's wonderful literatures called Jaiva Dharma. And this Dashmula Tattva these are the 10 root, Mula is root, Dash is 10, and Tattva is truths. So there's the 10 root truths of that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is our incarnation of Kali Yuga, of our special package of mercy from Krishna, who is going to help us. Because Danya, Hare Krishna. So we are, it's really our great fortune to be able to study these things. And all of this can be found in Bhagavad Gita. The Dashmula Tattva, all of the evidences given in the Dashmula Tattva, which were the revelations of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they were actually all taught by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And all of them are ultimately taught by Krishna. And the speciality of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that just like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya, help me. Tadatmanam sarjamyaham, thank you. That whenever there's a decline in religion and practically the spiritual knowledge gets lost to the world, that Krishna will come again and restore that knowledge. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did that just 500 something years ago. And don't take my word for it. You can study the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu yourself. You can have your own personal experience with it. But if anyone who does usually has the conclusion that this is definitely not an ordinary personality. These are definitely not ordinary things. And they have a really profound and positive impact on my life. So anyhow, let's start with a Bhagavad Gita verse, which is going to highlight one of the aspects of the Dashmula Tattva. The Dashmula Tattva is a big subject matter. I don't expect to get very far into it today, but we will touch on it. But this is going to highlight one of the teachings that Krishna is the supreme truth. The supreme activity is approaching Krishna. And there really is nothing else that one should focus on in one's life, because everything is connected to Krishna. And if you're very highly intelligent, you will also realize this and start to see how you can make sure that everything in your life, you can observe how it's connected to Krishna. And you can assure that the most direct ways you can connect to Krishna that you're doing. And, and everything could be connected to Krishna. I mean, there's certain things you totally don't want to you don't want to do, like devotees. They have all kinds of rules and regulations that they follow, that this thing really takes me away from realization that I'm connected to Krishna. But that activity in the world, if you see it, like for instance, eating meat. Eating meat is not something devotees do. Why? Because we realize that Krishna is in the heart of all living entities, and when we cause suffering to any living entity, we're actually causing suffering to Krishna. We're causing suffering to God. Jesus also says that what you do to the least of me, you do to me. And he goes through, where were you when this poor person was begging for food? Where were you when this person needed clothing? Things like this. So, but when you see others eating meat in society, you can remember that, you know what, like I feel so bad for them, and because they haven't developed that realization yet that this is not going to be good for them, and they haven't developed the realization, and of course the animals themselves are suffering, but you could actually see these things and realize that it could strengthen your devotion to Krishna, even though you don't do those things. It can strengthen your devotion. So the truth we're going to talk about today is that Krishna is the supreme truth, and this verse is actually evidence of that. So, are you ready? But before we begin, let's pray. We'll do some it's proper etiquette and tradition that instead of me just coming up here and saying, "Yes, behold what comes out of my mouth," that's I don't really have anything worth saying on my own. So we devotees often do a Mangalacharana, which is an auspicious offering, an auspicious invocation, highlighting that the knowledge that they're about to speak, they're praying that I don't speak anything on my own, and that I'm speaking only the words of the Supreme Lord coming through disciplic succession through our gurus and acharyas, and then what comes out is really their message, and I'm just acting as an instrument. When we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one of the underlying prayers, even though they're all names of Krishna, the underlying mood is please engage me in your service. Please allow me to be your instrument. And that's why we chant. That's what we do. So anyhow, we will chant these prayers, which ultimately mean that the first one at least means that we were stuck in a position, born in the darkness of ignorance, and by the torchlight of knowledge, by the ointment of knowledge, our guru has very expertly opened up our eyes and given us a mercy we really can't pay back. So you can chant with me if you'd like.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Bhagavamaya Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupa Sagadjatam Sahagana Raghuna Lamvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvitam Savidutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Krishna Kandita He Krishna Karuna Sindhu He Navana Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Radhamani Hari Panchakavatu Vyasta Kripa Sindhu Kevacha Patitanam Pavendo Vaishnave Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paschatane Srishtane
Mata Parataram Nanya. Oh, where'd it go?
Mata Parataram Nanya
Inchirasti Dhananjaya
Shirasti Dhananjaya
Mayi Sarvamidam Protam
Sarvamidam Prota
Sutremani Ganaiva.
Srimani Ganaiva
Danya, would you? Mata Paratarang Nanya Kinchirasti Dhananjaya Mayi Sarvamidam Protam Sutre Mani Ganaiva. Kunda, you want?
Mata Parataram Nanya
Mata Paratarang Nanya
Shirasti Dhananjaya Jaya
Kinchirasti Dhananjaya
Sarvamidam Protam
Mayi Sarvamidam Protam
Sutremani Ganaiva
Sutre Mani Ganaiva. Okay. Mata, beyond myself. Parataram, superior. Na, not. Anya, anything else. Kinchit, something. Asti, there is. Dhananjaya, a conqueror of well. Mai, in me. Sarvam, all that be. Idam, which we see. Protam, strung. Sutre, on a thread. Manigana, pearls. Eva, likened. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me, as pearls are strung on a thread. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. There is a common controversy over whether the Supreme Absolute Truth is personal or impersonal. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the Absolute Truth is the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, and this is confirmed in every step. In this verse, in particular, it is stressed that the Absolute Truth is a person, that the personality of Godhead is the Supreme Absolute Truth, is also the affirmation of the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. That is the Supreme Absolute Truth. Personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna, who is the primeval Lord, the reservoir of all pleasure, Govinda in the eternal form of complete bliss and knowledge. These authorities leave no doubt that the Absolute Truth is the Supreme Person, the cause of all causes. The impersonalist, however, argues on the strength of the Vedic version given in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Tato yad uttaratarang tad arupang anamayang yayatad vidaramritas te bhavanti yathe tare dukam evapiyanti. I didn't say that right, but that's okay. In the material world, Brahma, the primeval living entity within the universe, is understood to be the supreme amongst the demigods, human beings, and lower animals. But beyond Brahma, there is the transcendence, who has no material form and is free from all material contaminations. Anyone who can know him also becomes transcendental. But those who do not know him suffer the miseries of the material world. You all know that if we don't have realization of God, then we engage in karma, and then the result is suffering. Even though we try so many things and we think maybe I'll get happy this way or get happy that way, there is no happiness, unfortunately, because it's all temporary, and all we know is temporary. And when it disappears, we naturally get upset. But those who do not know him suffer the miseries of the material world. The impersonalist puts more stress on the word arupam, but this arupam is not impersonal. It indicates the transcendental form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge, as described in the Brahma Samhita quoted above. Other verses in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad substantiate this as follows. Let's see if I can do this properly. I don't know how. Vedahametam purusham mahantam adityavarnam. No, it's not it. Tamasa padastatameva vidvanam ritaiha bhavati. Nanya panta vidyate naya yasmat parang. Na paramasti kinchit yasman naniyo na jayosti kinchit. That's the best I got. I know that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all material conceptions of darkness. Only he who knows him can transcend the bonds of birth and death. There is no way for liberation other than this knowledge of that Supreme Person. There is no truth superior to that Supreme Person because he is the supermost. He is smaller than the smallest, and he is greater than the greatest. He is situated as a silent tree, and he illumines the transcendental sky, and as a tree spreads its roots, he spreads his extensive energies. From these verses, one concludes that the Supreme Absolute Truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all-pervading by his multi-energies, both material and spiritual. So just to simplify this, he's saying in Mata Parataram Nanyat that beyond him there is no superior truth. Kinchid Asti Dhananjaya. So there is, O conqueror of wealth. Conqueror of wealth is the name for Arjuna, and he's saying Mayi Sarvam, from me all. Idam, all of this creation, everything that you see, idam protam is strung. Oh, Niranjan, is Priti here too? Oh, I was actually like thinking about you guys. I was like, where are Niranjan and Priti been? So I'm so happy Krishna has inspired you in the heart to come. So, and Nihir, I've missed you. Priti, Hare Krishna. So, very good. So he's saying, Mahi sarvamidam protam. So, from me, all of this is strung. Sutre, like a necklace, like a thread. Mani ganaiva, like a necklace of pearls. We see the beautiful necklace of pearls or the necklace of tulsi, But if there was no string tying it all together, it'd all just fall over the floor. So the string is actually the most fundamental, important part of a necklace, even though it's the least appreciated and it's the least, no one talks about it. Oh, that's a nice string you got there. Actually, people who like necklaces, they might actually be like, well, what's that bound with? Like I know myself, I rather the cotton strings rather than the plastic strings because the plastic is always breaking. But anyhow, if we understand the fabric of reality, I mean, either whether you're a scientist, whether you're a Christian, no matter what your background and how you're approaching life, um, at the end of the day, that what they're finding is there has to be some indivisible, absolute power from which all things come from. Even the scientists are coming to the realize they're looking for this God particle, the foundation of everything. What is that particle? Well, the foundation is everything. Similarly, the teachings of Jesus would say, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all other things shall be added unto you. We seek so many things in this world, this, that, and the other, check all many boxes. But if we actually just knew that actually there's no truth superior to Krishna, and that if we sent our time and our energy in approaching Krishna, everything else would be taken care of because he's the support of everything, actually. And so if we actually know this, then we start engaging in bhakti. Because we realize there's really nothing else that should be done, nothing else that needs to be done. But bhakti doesn't mean, oh, okay, well, no, you stop going to work, just only come to the temple. Bhakti doesn't mean, yeah, forget about your kids, forget about your jobs, forget about these things. No, but what it does mean is that God is the foundation of reality, and that whatever you do should connect you to that. That's what yoga is. Yoga means to link, right? We did a yoga teacher training. You've heard that before? Yes, yoga means to unite, to connect. So bhakti yoga is to connect everything in devotion to that absolute truth. And what is the absolute truth? The impersonalists, they're trying to figure out what that absolute mystic force is. And the devotees, they know they've had the realization, or hopefully it comes, that actually he's a person and all the religions are calling God. And actually there's a united harmony here. Everyone, the Jews, the Muslims, the Christians, even the scientists, everyone can all agree that there's some higher force, and but what exactly is that higher force? They're all arguing and fighting and bombing and this, that, and the other. Um, so back to what we do here. We can talk about, I wanted to talk about the Dasmula Tattva. So if you know these 10 root truths, you'll actually have the complete package of what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught. And now this is just a very condensed one verse. Bhaktivinoda Thakur summarized everything that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught. So maybe I can bring it up here so you guys can see it. Dasamula Tattva. 10 roots of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Oh, Satyaraj Das. Oh, he's only got the English. That's not what I want. If not, I'll just chant it. You guys will just have to listen.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is. It goes Amnaya Praha Tatvang Haring Iha Paramam Sarva Shaktim Rasabdhim Tad Vinangshascha Jivan Prakriti Kavalitan Tad Vimuktangshcha Bhavad Beda Beda Prakashang Sakalang Api Hare Sadhanam Shuddha Bhakti Sadyang Tat Pritim Evetyupatijati Janan. Oh, it's not here. Gaura Chandra Swayam Saha. So this somehow is different than what I learned. But no problem. It means the same thing. So first, Amnaya Praha. Amnaya is it's the evidence, meaning the Vedas. Our evidence is actually the Vedas, but the Vedas, it's not just like in a book. How does anyone know how can the Vedas come to us? What's the proper way of understanding the Vedas?
Receiving it orally
Yes,
through the bona fide speaker.
yeah. uh, I think what's that saying? Something prapta dwaram Veda Vakya. Meaning, but Guru Parampara, um, what's that? Yeah, yeah. But basically, unless you receive the Vedas in Parampara, unless you receive the Vedas from an authority, you're not studying the Vedas. You know, you all you're doing is there's something we really have to know. That the human being, you've heard the saying, to err is human. Who's heard that? Right? Everyone? You've heard that before? Means to make errors, to make mistakes is human. Would you all say yes, we make mistakes? Yes. Do you know what the number one mistake we make is? This is when Prabhupada talks about the four defects of the living entity. You've probably heard this before, the four defects of the conditioned living entity. You, if you read Prabhupada's books, you'll come across that, the four defects. And the first one is called Brahm. Brahm means to misidentify reality. Um, and so, um, and ultimately, this is what we're doing. We're making a mistake about foundationally who we really are. That's the number one mistake we made, like who we actually are. Like if you imagine we program our GPS and we want to get results in this world, I want to go here and I want to get this. But if you don't have the right starting location, all of the instructions are going to be useless. And we think, you know what we all want? What is it that every living entity wants? From the worm and stool to the deer to us, all forms of human beings, all races. What do they want? Yeah, happiness. Yeah, yeah. Everyone wants happiness. And that's the symptom of the soul. But so we plug in our GPS. Okay, I want happiness. I'm going to happiness. So I'm going to do this, A, B, C, and D to get happiness. But we misidentify our starting location and we get a completely different route and we get something completely different. What do we get instead? Yeah, sorrow, suffering. Oh my gosh, I'm not happy. It's a problem, right? So it actually stems from the misidentifying who we are. And how can we realize who we are? One, the Lord. The Lord reveals that. How does he reveal that? Through the Vedas, through his personal revelations. And he does this time after time after time. You know, we said yada yada hi dharmasya. Every time that the truth is always going to be available. The Lord is never going to leave everybody in the world with no way to access the truth. And we just have to sit here and suffer. He's not like that. The reason that we're in this world in the first place is because ultimately we have an aversion to God. We want to be the supreme chief. We want to be the enjoyer, you know. At the end of the day, if we diagnose what's driving us day in and day out, it's like I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna enjoy that. I'm the one getting pleasure. It's the symptom of everyone, whether it's you, a turtle, a tree, everybody is thinking about their own pleasure. But um, if you type in the coordinates on the GPS, what you get instead is Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita is Dukhalaya, a place of misery. Because everyone in the pursuit of pleasure, we're all stepping on each other and causing each other so much misery. You know, like I saw yesterday that the United States invaded another country and took the president, and now he's in our country, and they're gonna, you know, it's like crazy actually. But like, you know, so some people are really happy about that, and then a whole another group of people are like miserable. And I guarantee you, the guy who got took, he's totally miserable. He's not happy about that. But anyhow,
But that's what Krishna does, right? I mean, he comes in the human form to take care of this wild animals like that guy whom he brought just.
yeah, but we're all wild animals.
Yeah, this guy is
Yeah, that's
really suffering everybody in that country.
yeah, yeah, I don't know much about him, but I've heard that. I've heard that, but I won't speak on that factually because I don't know. I don't know his I'm not really sure where everything lies. But for whatever reason, Krishna has sanctioned that it can be done.
Right.
You know, somehow it happened and you know, Krishna sanctioned it somehow.
Right.
He sanctions every horrible thing that happens. He allows all right, for whatever reason, due to karma, this can happen. For whatever reason, his karma was to get captured by the USA yesterday.
But that's when Krishna comes and
Yeah.
takes care of it.
Yeah, so everything, Krishna has a
Yeah.
way to take care of everything in this material world. Every bit of suffering is Krishna's loving mercy
Finally
to
comes
every
in.
living entity,
Yeah.
actually. Every bit of suffering is Krishna's mercy to us. But if we understand what does really Krishna want, what is in our best interest, like actually in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, he asks just for this. Uh, what does he say? Karpanya dosho pahata Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava Prichchami tvang dharma samudha chetaha. And then he says, what is the first word? Yachreyas, that's what I was talking about. Yachreyasha nishtitam bruhitan me. And then he said, you got to the Shishyas teham shadhimam tvam prapanam. So basically, he asks, Yachreyasha nishtitam bruhitan me. He says, I'm overcome by karpanya. Dosho pahata. I'm completely overwhelmed by karpanya, miserable weakness. If you're finding any misery in your life, you can maybe relate to Arjuna. I'm overcome by weakness, and I don't know what to do. Prichchami tvam dharma samudha chetaha. Prichami, I'm asking you because I'm bewildered about my duty. So if you're miserable in this world, no problem, and you're confused about, I don't know what to do. Yes, you ever experienced this? I'm unhappy and I don't really know what to do about it. Yes?
Yes.
This is the human condition. This is what we're here to work on these lessons. And we just keep making a mistake on what will make us happy. We think, oh, well, maybe Netflix will make me happy. Maybe if I binge this ice cream tub, this will make me happy. But we know, like, maybe if I do drugs, I'll be happy. But like those with a little bit more intelligence, no, that's not a good idea. Maybe in the very beginning, you'll feel some happiness. It's going to only cause you suffering in the long term. But anyhow, we try to engage the senses. We talked about last week, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita about the jivas, manashashtanindriyani, prakritistani karshati, that with the mind and the six senses, we're situated in this material world suffering, karshati, and that's that's our unfortunate situation. But there is a way out. You don't have to sit here and suffer. That's not what God wants for everybody. But there's some fundamental truths that have to be understood in order to overcome this suffering and actually be in the Satchidananda state, the permanent reality filled with truth, knowledge, and bliss. That's what we're all looking for. Full illumination, full bliss, and a permanent situation of this. We're all looking for that. But why are we looking in the temporary place of misery for that thing? I think, oh, maybe this temporary sense gratification, maybe this temporary thing here, maybe and you notice you might have done that in your life. Oh, I think this will make me happy, and I think this will make me happy, and then you go there and it never actually works. Yeah, this is just reality. This is called Maya. This is the illusion.
With desire, right?
Yeah, well, it has desire, but the desire is rooted in illusion, in Maya.
Right.
You think, I'm gonna be happy here. Here I am typing in GPS happiness, here we come. And then you get there and it sucks. That's life in the material world. But it doesn't have to be like that, actually. How do you know what to do? So he's saying Amnaya Praha. The Vedas are revealing Tatvang Harim, that the truth is the Supreme Lord, Hari. And he says, Iha Paramang, in this world, he's supreme. We just read that verse. Mata Parataram Nanyat. Beyond him, there's nothing superior. There's nothing. Jesus said the same thing. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Seek ye first God. All other things shall be added unto you. You'll have everything else you need. And then he gives the example. What about these birds right here? You see these birds? Do they work so hard? Do they toil? Do they spin? Do they do all these things? Do you think God loves you any less than them? What do you think? Who does God love you less than the birds? Robin?
God loves everybody.
Yeah, he loves everybody equally, including the birds. But guess what? The birds have everything they need. You do too. So why do we work so hard for and make this, We have Sarupa Goswami gives some
To
instructions.
pay taxes.
Yeah. Yeah, but but they've set up the system, but we work so hard to accumulate that, but it's a system that's just going to steal from us anyway. Got to give it back anyway. So why work so hard to have all these things? And they even have scientists have discovered already I don't recommend watching it because it's mostly mundane. But they've the gist of this documentary. It's called Happy, and what they found is that all the people of the world, the happiest people in the world, the only thing they have is just their basic necessities.
Mm.
That's it. Rich people aren't happy. The more money, once you have the basic necessities of life, the more money you have means unhappiness, actually.
Actually, they are the
Yeah,
unhappiest,
more money
right?
equals more problems. So, but if you have your basic thing, you can like take care of yourself, your family, everything. Those people, they're in Japan, whether in India, whether they're here, they're the happiest people in the world. But ultimately, the Veda conclusion, and really the reality is that what differentiates the human from any other situation in life is all that makes us different between me and a dog is that the dog eats, I want to eat. The dog sleeps, I want to have a decent arrangement for sleeping. My bed, wherever that is in my life. The dog is pursuing sex life. The people, they're pursuing, sex life in different arrangements, husband, wife, this, that. And then the dog wants to have its little thing, it's what do dogs have? A den or a corner, a cage, whatever it is, whatever the dog wants. It wants to acquire something and defend it, and we want to. This is my house. This is my arrangement here, my cozy little thing, and then, and this is mine. But ultimately, what was the difference between me and a dog?
Differentiate.
Anyway,
Like dog can't tell which is good or bad.
yes.
But
This the man can
can't tell.
understand he can pursue what is the deeper purpose of life. What is good? What is bad? Who's controlling all this? Who am I? That's the only difference between you and a human body and an animal. And
That's
guess
why
what? If you don't do that,
yeah,
if
Lord Krishna is controlling.
yeah. Yes, so we know this by study, but if we don't do that, if we don't have that realization that, oh, my purpose of life is to pursue what is the purpose of life, what is that? It's slipping my, what's that?
Consciousness.
Yes, well, the consciousness, but the dog also has consciousness, but our consciousness is less covered. His consciousness, they're just by instinct.
Purpose
If
of life is to help others, and
Well, we don't even know how to help others
yes,
because,
God will tell you.
yeah, yeah.
Krishna will tell you.
Yeah, well, that's the Amnaya. That's what we're getting at. We're trying to understand how do we actually know? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Tasmach Chastram Pramanam Te. He says, therefore, Shastra is your evidence. Karya Karya Vyavastito. To do that which is forbidden and that which is, or to do that which is your duty and that which is forbidden. If you want to determine Vyavastito, then he says, Gyatva Shastra Vidanoktam. If you know Shastra, then in all of its rules and regulations, karma kartumi harhasi, you'll know exactly what you should be doing in this world. You'll know what actually the karma that should be done. So, but unless we know the Shastra, and how do you understand the Shastra? It has to actually come through Guru. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I have no Guru, I'm screwed. Guru comes in many different forms. There's a progression of gurus. You've all actually already met a guru, or you wouldn't be in this room. A guru is the first guru you all met is a Vartma Pradarshika guru. We're all actually called. Every devotee, you're also all called to be a Vartma Pradarshika guru. Vartma means a path, and Pradarshika is the one who's bestowing or showing the path of what is that path? Ultimately, to pursue the absolute truth. Um, I'm forgetting it. Prabhupada always quotes this one verse, and I'm like forgetting it. Now is the time to inquire into the absolute truth. You know? Yeah, Atho Brahma Jigyasa. This is Athato Brahma Jigya. Yeah, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. This is the purpose of human life. You should understand what is the absolute truth. What is the purpose? And then the highest realization is going to be God is the highest thing. He's the foundation, like we studied in Bhagavad Gita. He is the string that's the foundation is everything. So we have to do something about this now. So what do we do? Well, first the basic understandings have to be there. Amnaya praha tatvang harim iha paramang. The highest truth, the supreme truth in this world is God, is Krishna. This is the supreme duty of a living entity. And there's so much. And if you don't do this, and let's just say you prefer to live like the animal. I hear people say, I wouldn't mind being a cat in my next life. The cat just gets to sleep all day and things like that. And I'm just like, oh my God. No, it's not a good existence actually. To be in this world is suffering, because the cat gets a little more comfortable, doesn't have to go to work and pay bills and things like that. Yeah, it can be any animal, you know. But if we actually lived humbly, also we'd have everything provided. We have already everything provided, because we have a life, we have all the opportunities, the situation. But the problem that makes us suffer is we want more. I need more than this. This isn't enough. I need more, and ultimately then we suffer. We engage in what's called prayasa, over endeavoring. So anyhow, um, Sarva Shaktim Rasabtim. Sarva Shaktim, Krishna actually is all energies are coming from Krishna. All of the energies. Like he says before this Mata Parataram Nanya, a few verses before, he says, Bhumira Po Nalo Vayu, uh, Kang Manu Buddhir Evacha, Ahankaram Itiyam Me, Bina Prakritir Ashtadha. He's saying earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. All of these 8 things are consisting of my inferior, or they're consisting of my eightfold material energies. The eightfold, so we have, this is what we're interacting with this world. The 5 elements, and they turn and make stairs, houses, all kinds of things, are clothes, and we interact with these things. But then he says later, aparayani tas tvanyat. I'm gonna forget this one. I have to restudy. But basically,
Can I ask you something?
yes,
Earth, I understand. When they say ether, means I know the
ether
chemical
is
ether.
ether is space.
Oh, space. Okay.
Yes, ether is space. So everything, all the elements have to fit into somewhere.
Oh,
And
okay.
that space, that's the ether.
That's good. I never
Yes,
understood.
yes, ether is space. And in your
One
body,
thing
you
I
have
know
so
is
much space.
chemical.
Yes, yes. So it's not like that. Um, is that Lakshmi and family? Hare Krishna. Very nice to see you. So, Sarva Shaktim or Sabtim, all energies are Krishna's. All energies are Krishna's. And Rasabtim, all pleasure, all taste, he's the ocean of pleasure. When we chant Rama, that's what that means. He's the origin of pleasure. I'm Ram Das, I'm the servant of he who's giving pleasure. That's what Ram means. When we chant Rama, So if you're looking for pleasure, Krishna is the topmost source of pleasure. But again, we type in our GPS, all right, we're going to Happiness Town. Here we go. And then we type in whatever nonsense coordinates we type in, and then we show up and it's not that. Why? Because we're not going to Krishna. If we just follow Jesus' simple instruction, we seek ye first the kingdom of Krishna, we seek Krishna, then we'll arrive at the ocean of Rasabtim. So, and actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gives evidence of this. It says is in Bhagavad Gita, avyaktim vyaktim apanam manyante mam abudaya parambhavam ajananto, and is mamavyayam anutamam. So what he's saying is that what Prabhupada was just talking about in this verse, avyaktam, unmanifested. People think that I'm avyaktam vyaktim apanam. He's saying unmanifested, but personality, apanam, I'm assumed. People, less intelligent, they think that I'm unmanifested, and assuming this personality right now. That really I'm impersonal, but assuming this personality. But parambhava majananto, my higher nature they do not know. Mamavyayam anutamam, which is my eternal, imperishable, and finer higher nature. But actually what it is personal. This is rest. This is real pleasure, is actually personal relationship. Personality is the
Personal relationship with God.
yes, yes. But that Krishna is a person. If we can understand God as a person, this is where real happiness is. This is where all the happiness is in this material world. No one's happy alone. Everyone's looking for that special personality who can make them happy, you know? Or they're trying to be that special personality that can make others happy. But personality itself is the very source of rest, the very source of happiness, the very source of um, beautiful relationship. But if we can realize that absolute truth, the foundation of everything is a person, that will actually open up the door for that ocean of rest. And you can actually understand your position in this whole thing, and have the Sambandha Jnana, which is the foundation. In order to bhakti to begin, you have to have Sambandha Jnana. Jnana is knowledge, Sambandha is what? Of the relationship. If you don't have knowledge of that relationship with God, you can't actually practice bhakti. So Rishabh team, he's the ocean of nectar. And what is that? It's actually in personal relationship. So and then he says Tad binangshas chajivan prakriti kavalitan. So bina means separated, anshas like our limbs or parts and parcels. Um, so they're all of the living entities of this world are actually parts and parcels of God. And it'll be said later, Chintya Beta Tattva, that we're in uh, Jivara Swarupa Hoy, Nitya Krishna Dasa, Krishna Tatasta Shakti Beta Prakash. So what he's saying is that we're all parts and parcels of God, but some of us are what we're doing right now. Jivan Prakriti Kavalitan. So Prakriti is this material world, this illusory world, and Kavalitan means we've been swallowed by it. The world of illusion, we've been swallowed by this world of illusion. And we're just sitting here in the belly of illusion, just trying illusory things for happiness, and it never works out for us. And Prakriti Sthani Karshati, we're just situated here suffering. Yes. Can anyone relate? Yes. If you're honest, yeah, that's just reality. We're all situated here suffering. There's a lot of like toxic spirituality that says like, no, everything's perfect. It's all fine. Everything's fine.
I want to ask you this.
Yes.
In the Bhagavad Gita, they say, in the Indian tradition or whatever, parents, then the guru,
Yes.
and then, okay, in Bhagavad Gita, the God Krishna says, you shouldn't have any attachment, to reach moksha, all that. It doesn't mean he's not saying give up all your kids and all that. Don't worry about them. Just think about me. He's
No.
not saying that.
Well,
I mean, what I
I'll
mean is,
I'll
don't
tell
worry about
you.
your kids. Don't think about them. He's not saying that, right?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, but you have to understand. When I'm not telling you to just be psychotic and
No,
break off with all your kids and all these things.
Yeah.
Krishna gives progressive teachings in Bhagavad Gita, starting with karma yoga to jnana yoga to ashtanga yoga to bhakti yoga.
Mhm.
But his conclusion is sarva dharman parityaja, abandon all dharma. That would mean any type of, but wait, it's gonna sound like what? Abandon all dharma and just surrender unto me. Sarva dharma parityaja mamekam sharanam vrija. So basically, the highest teaching is in the pursuit of one's relationship with Krishna, if even your family or any attachment you have in this world gets in the way of that, yeah, abandon it. But that being said, Krishna actually, he has a gradual progression for us. It's called Varnashram Dharma. And that, how to actually do Dharma in this world. And the more you do Dharma, the more you're eligible for the next set of teachings. And then at some point, like for instance, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Swami Srila Prabhupada, they had families at one point in their lives. But for the higher purpose, the pursuit of pursuing God at the deepest level, they gave it up. It became an obstacle in their life. I have a beautiful little son. Most of you have met him. I don't know where he is. My wife, has him. He's like a little under the weather though. So, um, and I love him so much. Just when he like smiles, it like lights up my whole life. And I could never imagine abandoning him. But if I became very, very advanced, years go on and they will go on. At some point, my son will be, who knows, you know, there may come a time where it is actually good for me to detach from the family and family life. There isn't a whole ashram for that. It's called Vanaprastha.
I mean, when they are grown up, but
Yeah, yeah.
on their own.
Yes, yes. So all these things,
Not abandoned,
yeah, yeah. But usually it's not recommended to have a child and then abandon the child. Krishna does not find that favorable. But at the same time, if in one's sincere pursuit of God, if family life, like for instance, in Srila Prabhupada's case, he really tried to hold it together, hold his family life together. But as he was trying to invite saints to his home and do all of the bhakti activities, his wife and children were actually like sabotaging him and working against him. And in that case, actually, Sarvadharman, abandon that duty and just surrender to Krishna. Don't lose the foundation of reality for a temporary arrangement. Because you have to remember, family is temporary. We have to remember everything in this material world is temporary. So if you have to, Jesus says, what profiteth the man if he gains the whole world, but he loses his eternal soul? So what profiteth us if we hold on to Dharma, but we don't pursue God?
Yeah.
And because of whatever, my job says I don't have time for God, or my family says I don't have time for God, or my parents say I don't have time for God. No. God is reality. God is the foundation of existence. And the intelligent person will pursue that at all costs. And in the gradual progression, if they have to give up some things, like for instance, where me and my wife are at, we love our families. We go there. We just spent 3 weeks with them. But we realize how healthy distance is from our families. Having some distance from the family is really good for us and it's good for them. They can appreciate us more, we can appreciate them more, and we have more time to focus on God wholly and solely, and they have more time to do whatever they want to do. And it's healthy, it's good. But when we come together, I can be some type of compassionate instrument, and I, tell whatever little they're ready to digest about God, or, be encouraging and loving in whatever way I can. And then I could just go away again. And it's fine. And same, every aspect of this material world is like this. But it took time to, be situated where we're situated now. It didn't just happen overnight. It was, one second I was living with my parents and I was trying to practice being a monk, and it was totally averse. You can't, what my brothers were doing, they're having people over late, drinking and partying, and all kinds of, young ladies are coming in at all hours of the night and stuff like that. And I'm trying to sit here and control myself and be like a monk. And it was a horrible environment to do that. So I went and I lived at the temple, but I still stayed connected with them.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
Mahatma Gandhi, even while dying, he said Hare Ram, Hare.
yes. Yeah, I mean, Mahatma Gandhi is a big proponent of Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada actually wrote him a letter before he passed away, warning him to stop this political activities that you're doing and focus more on the Gita. And he says, you're going to surely, be killed if you continue doing this.
Yeah.
And he was right.
Killed by actually a Hindu.
Yeah, but
And actually, he prayed to him before he killed him.
yeah. I don't know the circumstance, but I do know that Prabhupada, he recommended he stop getting engaged in the temporary political affairs of this world and get engaged in the eternal affair of actually trying to understand and serve God, which is what this is ultimately the main we'll get to it, but Sadhanam Shuddha Bhaktim, this part in the third line, this is what we have to do. First is just all the first root truths are understanding what is reality, what is God, and what are we. We are Tadbinangshas. We are his separated his separated limbs. We're like his little parts and parcels in this world. Jivan Prakriti Kavalitan. Some of us are swallowed by illusion, Maya, this world. That's what we're in. And guess the symptom of that living entity is they suffer. Suffering is actually all due to an illusion. It's due to our attachments of what we think reality should be as opposed to what reality is. That's all suffering is. I think reality should be this, and it's not this. And due to my attachments to what I think, I'm suffering. But if you didn't think reality should be that, and you just accepted what reality is, and you trusted, and you had some what's called sharanagati or surrender to the Lord, then you're down. Okay. I accept it. I trust you. It's good. I know you're my maintainer, my protector. My thoughts are nonsense. We should have that humility that my thoughts are actually nonsense. But anyhow, but then the other one, the other section of society is Tadvimuktang Shabavad. There's the liberated beings, those who are the devotees of the Lord. He reciprocates with them, he liberates them. They're free beyond all suffering, and they're these perfect, wonderful, saintly beings like our acharyas here, and they can deliver all the other living entities in this material world. So if we're intelligent, we'll search out those beings, and they're in our and ultimately we want to surrender to one. This is called Guru Padashray. But in our process of seeking out Guru, we might find, there might be other living entities who are a little less covered than we are. And we should just find the most saintly and least covered living entities we can find. And that is our soul shelter, actually. Our soul shelter are Krishna's actually empowered devotees who have been given realization by other saints, and then they can help us. And that's what helps them, because we'll talk about it in what Shuddha Bhakti is. But part of the progression of Shuddha Bhakti is first you have to hear about Krishna from realized saints, and then you have to share about Krishna, and that's how you become a further realized saint. So the saints are looking for people to share to, because this is what's going to help them go further. And the people who are suffering should be looking for the saints because they can completely liberate them. And they can help them realize that you're suffering just due to all of these mental gymnastics which you're doing, but you just have to stop and just hear, we'll help you. But the illusory living entities, they don't want to hear from saints. They're actually averse to it. They hate to hear it. And those who really hate it are of the demonic nature. But those who are, humble and have been humbled by life, that's why Jesus says, blessed are the humble, the meek, the mild, the poor in spirit, all of these, seemingly unfortunate because they're humbled by life. And then they'll actually turn to a saint. That's why Krishna talks about the 4 types of people who come to him. The first qualification is the distressed. Those who are in distress, they'll come to Krishna. Those who are in need of something, I need money. I don't know how this is going to happen. I don't know this. They'll come to Krishna. The one who wants to know more about life, well, what is the deep person? They'll come to Krishna. And the best one who comes to Krishna, this is all Bhagavad Gita. I wish I could quote the Sanskrit for you, is the one in knowledge, the one who fully understands what reality is. And they say, I have to go to Krishna. There really is nothing else I should do. So this is what we're called to do. So if you realize there's these vimuktas, there's these liberated saints in this world, and my only way to receive any to get out of this giant whale belly of Maya is to take the help of the saints. Then we search out saints. That should be the number one thing people do. If people are not searching out saints, trying to do everything on their own, then they are in the illusion of thinking that they're the doer.
The saint is like a teacher.
Yeah, a saint is a liberated soul, but not just any teacher. A teacher who has certain qualities, like Rupa Goswami. He says, "Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam Jiva vegam udurapasta vegam. Etan vegan yo vishaheta diraha. Sarvam apimam prithivim sashishya. So it means vacho vegam, the urge to speak. Manasakrota vegam, the urges of the mind and to anger. Jiva vegam, the urges of the tongue. Udurapasta vegam, the urges of the belly and the genitals. Etan vegan, all of these urges, yo vishaheta, one who can tolerate these urges and doesn't just engage all of these things in these temporary, I just want to speak anything. If basically, unless you can take all of those things and offer them to God, you cannot control, we're not controlling the senses. We get a thought like, oh, I want to eat this and I'll just eat anything. Let me just stop at the gas station real quick and all of these things. And that's just an eating. But I want to say this. We don't think about what we say. Is it nice? Is it true? Is it really, I want to spew out about politics, or I want to spew out about temporary mundane things, mundane business affairs of this world. And we don't want to talk about the absolute truth. One who can control all these urges and then offer them and only engage them in that absolute truth. Yo vishaheta diraha, he's wise. He can tolerate all these urges to do nonsense. And then sarvam apimam prithivim sashishyat. All of the world, even if he can do this, he can be the instructor, the guru, the whole world. So that verse actually is explaining what a guru does. Is they're fully in control of themselves. And only that fully controlled person, he can be a guru. And then it goes on more describing activities that we can do and so on. But we're running out of time because we have to still offer arati. But basically, they're the saints. We should search out saints. This is our ticket out. There are vimuktas. There are liberated saints out there. And if you meet such a saint, they can, just by hearing them, your illusion will be lifted. And that's how you'll recognize, like, wow, what the heck am I thinking? So that'll be your symptom. Just by hearing them, you'll feel inspired to give up your nonsense. And that's how you'll know that, oh, I've met a saint. So, and there are degrees of saints. All of us are called to be little baby saints. Try to be like a little baby saint. But in order for our saintliness to be fed and nourished, we have to hear from the big saints. And they got to feed us and get us nice and strong and raise us and take tender care of us. So we study under a guru, a big saint, so that as a baby little saint, we can get big and strong one day too. But anyhow, Beda Beda Prakasham Sakalam Api Hare. We are all different, but we are different, Beda and Abeda, but also one, part and parcel of the Lord. It's inconceivable how we're simultaneously different. We're these tiny little beings, tiny little sparks of God, but we're also one with the total whole and have all these divine qualities. Even the symptom of the soul, how it animates matter and completely gives life to matter, is an amazing feat that we are actually doing, but we don't know how we're doing it. So if we understand we're all little beta prakasham, little manifestations of God. Tanmay, Hare Krishna. Sakalam, and everything in existence, everything is that. If we realize everyone is this amazing little spark of God, now it'll be a wonderful realization that we had. And we can actually learn how to be Trinadapi Sunichana, more humble than a grass, and Tarorapi Sahishnana, more tolerant than a tree. Amanina, free from pride, because everyone's divine. I'm no better than anybody. And Manadena, we can learn how to respect everybody, in Kirtaniya Sarari. And when we actually do that, then we can actually always glorify the Lord, which is the main thing that one should do. And this, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, according to Bhagavad Gita, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, according to all of our acharyas, according to Jesus and all the great teachers of bhakti, this is just what one should do. And any other ideas you're getting, it's just a miscalculation you're writing in your GPS, and prakriti sthani karshati, you're just going to get suffering at the end instead. So might as well, firmly situate yourself through this knowledge, these 10 root truths, in who you actually are, what's really important, and how you really can get to that destination of happiness. And guess what? The foundation of happiness, the source of pleasure is the meaning of the name Ram. That's God. And if you don't approach God with your life, you will not be happy and you'll waste the human life. It'll be a complete waste, and at some point you'll just be an animal because that's what'll happen, because eventually without God our consciousness becomes animalistic and then we just go to animal life, and there's all kinds of species. If you really liked eating in this life, maybe you can be a pig in one life. If you really like sleeping, maybe you can be a bear. There's 8,400,000 different types of species depending on your likes and tastes in this material world. But the best is to be in a human because you can actually pursue God and you can have a godly existence in the eternal realm. Anyway, we're not there yet. Where are we? Um, if we understand all of the creations, all of the living entities are the Lord's, and they're part of the Lord in a one with but different, we'll realize I need to approach that Lord. How do you do that? Sadhanam Shuddha Bhaktim. You should have a sadhana. Well, first, in order to have a sadhana, you have to have sadhyam tad pritim. You should have a sadhya. We actually have so many sadhanas and sadhyas. Do you know what is a sadhana? You've heard of this word, sadhana? A practice. Yes. But in order to have a sadhana, you should have a sadhya. What is the sadhya?
Somebody to help. No?
No. Kind of. A focus. What did you say? Yeah, a commitment or an intention. A sadhya is like a goal. So we all have, we all do sadhanas. When you go to work, there's a sadhana there. Well, I'm going to work, and my goal is to get a certain amount of money from my work. Yes? When you go to school, you go to school and you study, but you're looking for a certain type of credential. You have a goal. But what is the highest goal? Sadhyam is tad pratim. Sadhyam tad pratim evetu padashati janan. So what is sadhyam? Actually our goal should be affection for the Lord, love for the Lord. This is called Krishna Prem. This is the highest goal. The highest goal, what George Harrison said, all you need is love. That's all you really need. And God is the source of all love. And you can always have that relation, no matter what you are, whether your wife let you down, your kids let you down, your coworkers let you down, your friends let you down. The Lord will never let you down, actually. So should be the goal. And what's the sadhana? Shuddha Bhaktim is the processes of bhakti, pure bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti. Not just like, oh, I'll do some bhakti. I want to make sure it's cute. A lot of, especially, in Indian culture, they'll come and just see the deities. And they're very, sometimes we'll just get people show up at the house and just, can I see the deities? And then they'll give a little money. They'll just touch the altar, bring it to their head. And I was like, oh, do you want a book? Do you want to know anything more? No, I don't care about that. I just want to touch. I just want that. Why? Because they have some goal that they think that the deities will give them their goal. And so this is not Shuddha Bhakti. This is Mishra Bhakti. They have some karma that they want, or some result they want out of life. And then I'm only here for the result. I'm worshiping you because I want this. So ultimately, this is called Kanishtadikari, or like a neophyte devotee. But we're called to be above that, not to do. So we're called to practice. The way to attain, Krishna, to really attain that relationship with God, he's only attracted to Shuddha Bhakti. So what is Shuddha Bhakti? Is pure devotion. Nadanam najanam, nadanam najanam nasundarim, kavitamba jagadisha kamaye. You know this? Nadanam, not money. We have a lot of us, we have ambitions for money. Even myself, I'm like, well, how am I gonna, figure out all the things here? But no, nadanam, not money, najanam, no popularity or followers as well, no prestige. Oh, look at me, everyone thinks I'm so wonderful and things. If you're trying to get in a position in life where you're doing that, you cannot practice Shuddha Bhakti. Najanam, nadanam, najanam, nasundarim, nor beauty, your own beauty or a beautiful lady or a beautiful, partner, things like that. The beauties of this world. If you're going to God because you want that, no Shuddha Bhakti there. Nor kavitamba, or even to become like a great poet or scholar or appreciated with one's great works in the world. You could be a scientist or a philosopher or a poet, a great recognized person. None of that is important. And none of that at all conquers Krishna. But Krishna is known as Bhakter Jitatvam, he who is conquered by bhakti. If you want to conquer God, this is the secret. But you can't have any of these ambitions for money, fame, uh, popularity, or appreciation from others, and what is the and or beautiful partners or anything like that, beautiful worldly relationships. If that's your goal, you're not going to practice Shuddha Bhakti. But what is Shuddha Bhakti? Shuddha Bhakti is you purely want the Lord. So what is the nine main processes of the beginning of Shuddha Bhakti? You know, Tanu? Keep going. Vishnu, Pad, Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma, Nivedanam. Good though. Shravanam, first thing, hear about Krishna. Hear about Krishna from somebody who's realized in Krishna and they themselves are pure. If you're hearing about Krishna from someone who's not pure, like unfortunately, I can only tell you so much and I've only achieved so much level of purity, you'll only be able to get what I have, including all of my garbage and nonsense too, because I'm still not perfected. So you have to hear from somebody who's transcendental. How can you even recognize that someone's transcendental from a corrupted state? You can't. You have to pray, and that you ultimately you pray that Krishna reveals himself to you, but you can study and you can hear. You can try to hear the best you can, and by your process of hearing, you will get more and more revelations. And then eventually, Gyatva Shastra Vidanoktam, if you know all the rules and regulations of Shastra, you'll start to see that, oh, that guy at the temple, he's saying this, that, and the other, but like, why does he keep doing that thing? Or why does he keep focusing on this thing, which is against the conclusions of the Shastras? So, for instance, if I was saying something, and then you noticed in my life and how I interact with others that, oh, you wouldn't want to just like criticize me openly or anything. But if you ask me, like, how can I recognize that uh, you're talking about all this bhakti, but I see that you really like, I don't know, why are you eating meat? Why are you still eating meat? Like things like that. Then you might realize that I'm being hypocritical or I'm not fully realized, which is okay. Not everyone has to be fully realized, but you should understand that if you just are studying under a non-fully realized person, you can't get fully realized yourself. So it'll be an obstacle to your higher goal. So you need someone who's a vimukta, who is a liberated saint. And that's the only way you can really make advancement and prepare yourself to eventually be vimukta and be eligible to the vimukta world. So should be our goal. And so what do we do? Shravanam. Try from a pure saint about Krishna. But it's not easy. It's so rare to find a pure saint. It's like the rarest thing in the whole world. So what can be done is you find the most eligible person that you can, and you should hear. And, like for instance, Mantra Central, in like 300 miles, we're the only people talking about stuff like this. So in like 300 miles, this might be your best shot. I wish I had another say, but actually we do. We're going to invite saints here. We have connections now with many saintly devotees who are much more advanced than we are. And then when you come here and hear from them, you can be uplifted and we're uplifted. So come, get the benefit. Let me see what else is
Today
here.
is the best day. We started with 3 people. Now we got full of room, right?
Yes, yes. This is the Lord he's gradually sent everyone.
You can tell with the God,
He,
started with 3 and now it's like 30.
yeah, he sends everyone in at the right time. Some people, they should just come for the end because there's a feast coming. So no problem. Sometimes we see after the program's over and then the door will open and more will come and they're here just for the feast. Like, all right, fine, no problem.
Well,
Yeah, but everyone will get exactly what they need to get from the situation. But anyway, start with Shravanam and then eventually Kirtanam. Kirtanam means sharing, glorifying the Lord, describing the Lord, talking about his name, his form, his pastimes, his glories. The simplest kirtan we do is we're going to sing names of the Lord. And we'll all sing the name of the Lord together. But also this is kirtan. I get the good fortune of practice being the kirtan leader in this class. So I get to talk about the Lord and the different understandings of the Lord. This is also kirtan. So you yourself, this is part of Shuddha Bhakti. You will also, when you hear, you can't just be a miser and keep it all to yourself. You have to share it with others, or else you can't go to the next part, which is Vishnu Smaranam. Which means in order to remember, you have to practice all the other processes of bhakti. You have to keep hearing and you have to keep sharing, and then you'll remember. And then there's other processes, archanam, the different forms of deity worship, how to engage others in different puja and performance, vandanam, we're gonna chant some prayers of our acharyas, and how to realize the conclusions and meanings of these prayers. Dasyam, understanding that I'm a servant of the Lord, maybe getting initiated to a guru and becoming a formal servant like Madhav Das or Mukunda Das or Sita Devi Dasi, like this. And what are your names, by the way? I'm sorry, I should have asked. Sucheta? Nidish. Okay. So you guys are not initiated, or you are. I don't know.
no.
Oh, no, no. Okay, okay. So sorry.
What do you mean initiate?
So eventually, part of the Shuddha Bhakti process is when you find a saint who's fully realized and you fully trust, and you're really wanting to make advancement in your own ability to increase your saintliness for all kinds of reasons. Because the saints are the only ones who are really happy no matter what. So then you will have to surrender to that personality. That's the condition.
Oh,
You would surrender to that personality and become their disciple, become their servant, dasyam. And then in that form of dasyam and by humbly, eventually the relationship will get so intimate that sakya may arise, where you can actually feel friendship for the guru, friendship for the Lord even, all of this. And then atmanivedanam, and you'll learn how to fully surrender your whole soul. But only can be done through a guru. Like, for instance, we can only tell you so much. But if you still keep your own ideas about how to go through life, and all our own ideas have only got us suffering so far, and that's all it can give us in the future, it's only when we take the mercy of the Lord's saints, then, and we surrender to their way of life, even though it might feel bitter for us because we're sick. It's compared to, there's a verse in Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamrita. It goes, Shat Krishna Nama Charitari Sukirtananu. No. Shat Krishna Nama Charitari Sitapya Vidya Pito Patapta Rasanasya Narochikanu Kintvara Rada Nurinang Kalusaiva Jushta Svadvi Kramad Bhavati Tad Gadamula Hantri. And that verse means that from Krishna's name, his form, his qualities, his pastimes, arises so much sweetness. But due to our ignorance, avidya, like a person who's afflicted with you've heard of pitta before? Pitta is, yeah, acidity, it means bile. So if bile comes up from your stomach and onto your tongue or your mouth, it like deadens and kills all of the taste buds. So what happens is you can't taste sweetness anymore. And instead of sweetness, you only taste bitterness. So it says, Pitopa tapta rasanasya. The tongue is afflicted by this pitta, narochi kanu, and there's no palatable taste in spiritual life. So you can try chanting, you can try doing all of these things, and it's not palatable to you. But kintvara rada nurinang kalusaiva jushta. But kintva, if you carefully and 24 hours a day engage take these names, forms, and practice this bhakti, and you take this, svadvi, eventually you will relish it gradually. Svadvi kramad, you'll relish it. Svadvi kramad bhavati, and your disease will become destroyed. So this is the process. In the beginning, it's bitter. You don't want to taste. Just like when you're sick. I'm feeling a little sickness. My son is. And the all genuine medicines are bitter herbs. That's what a medicine really is. It's just a bunch of bitter herbs and nobody likes it. Oh, I hate it. But actually, it's good for you. So in the beginning, all the processes of bhakti will be bitter. Oh, I don't like the taste. But it's going to be good for you. But you can only do this, and the next verse of that Upadeshamrita will tell you, you can only do this under the guidance of a pure saint. And otherwise, you'll get something. Like let's say you were like Madhav is taking initiation with our Guru Maharaj. But before he did that, he was kind of just like under my wing here. And I would say, Madhav, do this, and Madhav, do here. And me and Madhav will go run around and do everything together in the beginning, before he was Madhav, when he was Michael. But there was going to be limited, what he can get from just running around following me and doing. So like this, you'll need to find a pure saint. And because a pure saint is so rare, just whatever highest connection to a saint we can get, no problem. We should take that and we should try to serve those. We should try to hear from those personalities, and they will reveal the next levels for us. And then when we're ready for the next level, sometimes a new teacher might also come in and shed new light on certain things. So we should always keep trying to make advancement, and Krishna will keep sending the right people to help us.
Yeah,
And
gradual.
And it's gradual, yes.
You can't be looking for saint all the time and
Yeah,
not
yeah.
doing anything
Well,
wrong.
if you can look for the saint, that would be wonderful. But if you can't find a saint, because it's not so easy, and I know they only come here a few times a year, so go to the local devotees, hear and practice with them, and take some steps in your life to in the Shuddha Bhakti process, and be ready for when a saint does come across your path, and then you can seize the opportunity.
What we are doing now.
Yes, this is what we're doing right now. You're gradually preparing the soil in the field to practice pure bhakti. And the saint's going to come and give all the water and the nourishment. But for right now, we can give something that will help you get ready and prepare the soil and get everything ready. So please come here and get ready. As is tradition, we went overtime again. But as is tradition, most people came late. So now we'll keep you 15 minutes late like we always do. And then we'll all honor Prasad together. So thank you very much. Is there any burning question or anything? I feel bad. I should give more time for that. I mean, it's usually just me and Vijay with the questions. No, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. Most people, Mother Sarojini, most people don't say anything. So I'm so happy that Vijay.
don't want to ask you. So I'm doing for both of
Yes, I appreciate that so much, Vijay. Is there anything though from anyone, like a sincere question that we could try to answer very quickly? That's why Vijay's here. Because most people are too shy for a question.
I learn a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
actually,
every day.
no, what you're doing is good, actually, because Krishna says, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshana. Which means, if you really, that understanding of me can only come through first pranipatina, becoming humble before somebody, pariprashnena, asking them questions humbly, and then sevaya, rendering them service. And then upadekshanti te jnanam, that knowledge will be revealed unto you, because jnaninas tattvadarshana, because that person holds that knowledge and they see the truth, and they can distribute it. But that's the secret to squeeze the knowledge out of someone is you have to be humble before them and respect them, and then ask them questions and then serve them, and then you'll get everything from that person has. So yes.
So it's important to hear from sadhus, as you're told.
Yes.
How can we help bring sadhus here?
Did you say how can
we help bring sadhus here? That's a great question, and actually I spend some of my time meditating on this. And if you have any good ideas, we can talk about them. But from what I found from talking to many sadhus and what they're really looking for, what's going to make it worth their time, is that one, there's a bunch of people here eager to hear about these topics. That would help too. Also, it's proper etiquette that we arrange all of the travels and all of the costs of everything so that they can come here. That's another element of things. But that's the main two things, is just logistics and the actual people here waiting for them. Because if they come here and we make all these arrangements, pay hundreds of dollars, flights from India, this, that, and the other, okay, detours up to Syracuse, and there's barely anyone here for them, and then we can't even compensate their travels and things. It's not so attractive to regularly have sadhus come here. But if we have the logistics set up, and we have the main thing, the people here eager to hear, then every sadhu who's come here, when that's been the case, they've been very eager to come back. And that's why we do have some coming back, because we're able to encourage that. But the main thing is that we have to have eager people here. But there are people here, and hopefully you guys have realized the whole essence of today is that we need to find a vimukta. We need to find a liberated soul, and you're not going to do it alone. Anyone who's has this what's called this ascending knowledge idea, with all the great scientists of this world, or not so great scientists of this world, their idea that I can do it just by this technique. You have to understand you are misidentifying reality. Any idea coming from your mind is not factual. It's from a state of Brahm or illusion. And unless you can come in touch with somebody who's beyond illusion, you will never get out of illusion. It's impossible. So unless you can come in touch with that beyond illusion personality, you're just going to keep perpetuating the illusion and find yourself in different elements of suffering in this world, and that which is the symptom of illusion. So,
But main thing you did is, instead of inviting somebody from somewhere and all that,
yes.
what you did today or every day is a great thing.
Yeah, I'm helping.
What else you need? The main
Yes.
thing is people learning.
Yeah, well, that's my job, is to help, and help prepare people for when the sadhus do come, that people can really take full opportunity. What I'm sharing is been given to me from the sadhus. So I'm kind of acting as their instrument anyway, at least when I am properly situated. If I can get improperly situated, and I can spew a bunch of nonsense too. If you hang out with me long enough, you might detect a few things. But we're working on it. So anyhow, but that's the best I know, the logistics and the people eager to hear. You have any ideas?
Mhm.
You have any ideas with the sadhus? How can we attract sadhus here?
What was that?
Yeah.
He can get more at Cornell because big place.
Yeah, I mean, at Cornell, maybe Mukunda, you can attract a bunch of people when we have sadhus. We have to figure out how we're going to do that down there. But anyhow, thank you guys so much. Please forgive I have the tendency to overspeak. So please forgive me anything I said offensive or wrong or too long. We're going to do arti now. Mukunda's going to offer the arti. We're going to all stand up and we're going to sing. And hopefully we realize that the songs we're going to sing are all names of Krishna, and that the whole purpose is we're calling out to Krishna to please engage me in your service, give me your mercy, accept me as your servant. And so let that be the coloring behind all of our chanting. And if we all do that, we're all going to chant ecstatically. But in the beginning, just whatever little bit of mood you have in that way, let it come. So thanks for joining.